Guys, the Bridgegate trial has come to an end with guilty verdicts on all counts. We've got Chaser team coverage. Diana Blass is chasing Governor Christie. Sabeel is in Trenton getting reaction from the legislators. But what I want to do is start with Alex and Dan. Alex, you were there outside the federal courthouse in Newark. Tell us what's happening.
Stunned and in tears, Bridget Ann Kelly stood beside her lawyer outside this courthouse minutes after being found guilty on all charges in the Bridgegate case.
This is not over, I assure you.
The tears had started inside the courtroom when Kelly heard her name and the word guilty said 8 times by the jury foreperson. Kelly, the author of the infamous Time for Some Traffic Problems in Fort Lee email, was found guilty alongside Bill Baroni, the former deputy executive director of the Port Authority. Outside the courthouse, Kelly said little. Her lawyer did most of the talking.
We have to get home with the family. There's issues we have to take on a first level basis. This obviously is very important in her life.
Next, after Kelly, Bill Baroni stepped to the microphones. Now, Bill Baroni, they used to talk about him in the same sentence as the words future senator, future governor. Today, he's a convicted felon, but he still maintains his innocence.
I am innocent of these charges, and I am very looking forward to this appeal.
His lawyer, Michael Baldessari, was much more angry towards the government and spoke about what he felt was what the government did wrong and what the judge did wrong in telling jurors not to take into account whether or not Kelly and Baroni tried to punish the mayor of Fort Lee, Mark Sokolich, with a massive traffic jam.
This was and is a disgrace.
Next to the microphones came Paul Fishman. Governor Chris Christie is his predecessor in the U.S. Attorney's Office. Christie was U.S. Attorney for New Jersey. Fishman said that this is one of his signature public corruption cases.
The only thing is I will assure the public that when we have allegations of corruption at the Port Authority or any other agency, we take them enormously seriously. Political corruption has, as all of you know, been the signature program of my office for the last 50 years. And if we get allegations that we think warrant investigation, we run them to ground.
So a lot of emotion here after a 7-week trial, an 18-month ordeal, 3 years after the lane closings. Appeals are guaranteed, Bill. They're going to be revisiting this case for a long time to come. But first, February 21st, 2017, Kelly and Baroni are going to be sentenced. They could both be facing 20 years in prison, but it's likely they'll do much less. Still, for a mother of 4 like Kelly, it's got to be really hard to know that she could be spending some of that time seeing her children from behind the glass of prison.
But what was her demeanor like?
She was devastated. I would have to say that. I mean, it can't be easy news for anyone to have. And regards to Fishman, Bill, I mean, it was very interesting to see this press conference, to partake in this press conference, because even though Fishman got guilty on all counts, the answer that he wanted from this trial, it almost felt like in some way Fishman had lost because the questions were so harsh about why he did not go after the governor, why he did not go after Christie's campaign manager, Bill Stepien, people whose names were all over this trial, but who have not been touched. There was really a lot of second guessing the U.S. attorney today.
Hey, just on the nuts and bolts, what's next for Bridget Ann Kelly and Bill Baroni? They go home for a few weeks. Has the sentencing date been set?
Yes, the sentencing date is set for February 21st of next year. Appeals are guaranteed in this case. They're going to be taking those up right away. Interesting bit of compassion from Paul Fishman, though, when asked if he would allow Kelly and Baroni to stay out of jail while their appeal works its way through the court system. He said absolutely.
All right, Alex. Good job covering this whole thing. Thanks. Sabeel, you are chasing reaction in Trenton. I know you caught up with some legislators, including one of Christie's chief detractors, Senator Loretta Weinberg. What'd she tell you?
Bill, the reaction at the Statehouse after news of the Bridgegate verdict came out was swift. I was attending a hearing in which senators and assemblymen were basically grilling New Jersey Transit Executive Director Steve Santoro about mismanagement at the agency and safety issues. But as soon as the news came out, they stopped the meeting. Loretta Weinberg turned to the cameras.
All day to have a spotlight on the kind of administration that was run. So it's a sad day for them, and I think for all of the residents of New Jersey.
Senator Loretta Weinberg said that she doesn't believe that Baroni and Kelly deserve to go to prison. I asked Senator Weinberg if she believes that Governor Christie got away with it.
I'm not going to comment on that. I think there's been a spotlight on the Christie administration. I said I didn't care whether he knew about it before, during, or after. He set the stage, and people unfortunately got suckered in.
I also got the Republican side's reaction to this verdict. by speaking to Senate Minority Leader Tom Kean.
It's sad. It's sad for everybody in New Jersey. We need to have transparency and reform at the Port Authority, and we need to move forward in those efforts.
Let's not forget what these guys did, what they were convicted of doing, this abuse of power, this corruption. I'm sick of it. I think that Loretta Weinberg, honestly, it's all political for her. She didn't really want justice. She didn't really want to find out the problem. She wanted to go after Christie. She should at least meet the people of New Jersey halfway and say, you get a conviction, you got these guys that are going to, hopefully justice will be completely served. I think they both should go to jail. Thanks, Sabeel. Diana, after the verdicts came out in the Bridgegate trial, Governor Christie released a statement. You are chasing the governor. What do you got?
It's hard to talk about Bridgegate without mentioning Governor Christie. He never faced charges in the lane closures, but his name was tossed around the courtroom almost daily, with defendants saying he knew about the scandal. Now, Christie is in New Jersey on this Friday, confirmed to me by Brian Murray, his press secretary, but he has no public schedule, nor has he had one all week, actually. In fact, he never once answered questions throughout the entire Bridgegate trial. In a statement he released after the verdict came out, he said, "As a formal federal prosecutor, I have respected these proceedings and refused to comment on the daily testimony." He also maintained his innocence while saying in the coming days, he'll set the record straight about the lies told by the media and those in the courtroom. But the real question here, what kind of impact does this have on Governor Christie's legacy and the Republicans running for election? I went to Rutgers Eagleton Institute of Politics to get some answers.
This whole episode stains his legacy and is sort of, if you write an analysis of his 2 terms as governor, when they're over, this will probably be the first paragraph.
We're joined by Jim McQueenie, host of New Jersey Now on My 9. I don't know that many people are overly surprised at the verdicts, but what does this mean for Governor Christie?
It doesn't mean anything good. When his 2 lieutenants are convicted of everything and he was the commanding officer, you have to say what legally might come next from somewhere else. Not good, not good at all.
What about impeachment?
The Democrats will never institute an impeachment process. They want a wounded governor for all of next year when they're running to get their seats reelected in the Senate and the Assembly. He is their living embodiment of a lame duck, lamer before he needed to be lame. They will win by running against Christie with all the suspicion around him and all the verdict that happened. They don't want an impeachment process. They want a lame duck.
All right, we'll watch NJ Now, noon on Sunday, My 9. Thanks, Jim.